So for those of you who don't know a lot about Caverly, you can go to caverlymorgan.org, and we will be building out a presencecollective.org website as well, coming up in a week or so. And because we're doing this online, we've created a donation form that I'm going to include in the chat box. And suggested donation is $10, $12, $15 with no one turned away due to lack of funds. And we encourage, especially if you can't pay during this time, to not pay. Caverly.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate it again. I would love to begin, as we usually begin our Wednesday nights, with a brief check-in from everyone. Lately, it's been sweet to me that I might have mentioned last week in our usual Wednesday nights when we're in person, the check-in is sometimes not very long, and then we move straight into a sit-and discussion, but I've really appreciated that our check-ins are a little bit more robust on the Zoom platform. It affects how I guide the sit, and it creates a particular tone. And again, for me, it's about bringing all of us together into the virtual room and letting this virtual experience shine with the recognition of our togetherness, which can be harder to do on this virtual platform. But having a nice, robust check-in, I think, helps with that. So not I was, born in Maine and it's very cold, but just what's up now? Where are you now? What's alive now? And if you would do your name and pronouns you go by. And I want you to know you're always in choice in our community, to the best of our ability as facilitators, to remember to create that space. So what that looks like in this situation would be, it's perfectly fine to just wave or make us show. My heart and your heart are one, and I'll just know that you'd prefer to not bring in your voice tonight. Absolutely fine. I'm going to call on the screens just because I find that then we decrease the gap of waiting for who's going to go next. Okay. So any questions about that? Let's begin with D-Trag. So yeah, please take yourself off mute, or Alyssa, if you, okay, perfect. Hi.
Hi, Maya here.
Hi, Maya.
I have just been feeling super, super grateful. Even, today I went to the grocery store and waited in line for 30 minutes to get in. And I could see, people getting a little annoyed by that. But I was just thinking, how lucky we are to even, be able to get food right now. And just really reframing every single thing lately in terms of gratitude. And that's really helping with these times.
Maya, thank you. Appreciate that. Karen, hello.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I heard you at PIMC Caverly, and I just loved your way and your view. And I've done a lot of your online, and I'm so happy and grateful to be here tonight to see you live again. Thank you.
Karen, thanks so much. You're really welcome here, and I appreciate you giving that background. Anything you want to add about kind of anything that's alive for you from your day, or just how you're navigating these circumstances or practicing with them?
I'm a nurse at Providence, Portland, and there has been a lot of up and down with emotions. And I don't know, I'm just all over. So I've kind of felt like this has been kind of retreat time. I've usually if I'm not working on with PIMC in the morning at 7, and it's been just so good to kind of think of it as retreat time, watching the emotions rather than being in them so deeply. So,
Karen, thank you.
thank you.
And thank you for being in the line of work that you are. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. She, her works for me. And this is my first time actually joining the online class. And I just want to say that the way I found out about it was saying to my partner that one of the hardest things for me right now with having to stay home was to be missing my Wednesday night. And that same day is when I found this email link in my spam.
Oh.
I was like, what? and was so happy and grateful to know that we could still join together on Wednesday evenings. I'm really pleased to see all.
Yeah, your presence has been missed. I'm glad to see that everything's okay, and glad to know that you'll be checking spam more vigilantly.
I definitely.
Or at least get Presence Collective off your spam list.
It is off.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
You too.
Hi, Julie.
Hello, it's good to see lots of familiar faces. My cat is joining too, Moose. Yeah, just such a different mix of emotions happening right now. There's just a lot going on right now for everyone. I'm just kind of feeling that. Yeah, and sitting with that and trying to take time in nature a lot. There's a tree in my backyard, and sometimes I just like lay on my back and look up at the tree and just watch it when I'm feeling like a little bogged down by everything. So just trying to find those moments and feeling a lot of gratitude for spring and everything like blooming and being beautiful right now in the midst of everything else. It's like nature's still doing her thing regardless. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for naming that. It's a powerful lesson in and of itself, isn't it? It's a powerful reminder for us. Thanks, Julie. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Lindsey, she, her pronouns. I think the overwhelming thing I've been feeling this week and today is just kind of a feeling settled, I guess, in this isolation. I think it was kind of a difficult transition to go from a pretty busy life full of people to being by myself a lot. But I think, yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, getting used to it a little bit and feeling more settled. Yeah, maybe a little more content, I guess. But then there's also some other conflicting things going on in my mind and heart too. Just some anxiety about some things with my dad. And I'm not really sure how to handle it right now. So it's definitely just been on my mind a lot and trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, but yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Lindsey. Hi, Alice.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. I too, I don't know, I must have missed the email, and I just happened to be, I got online and I started searching, and I found the Instagram, you know, whatever the post is for Sangha, and I was like, there it is. Because there was a point I was thinking, are they there? It's Wednesday. Are they there? Where are they? So I'm so glad to be here. And I also joined the Sangha Live this morning too.
Oh, great, Alice.
Yeah, thank you. Alice, she, her. It's so nice to see all of you in these familiar faces. I'm here alone, and it's been such a mix of grace, and also just really balancing that with an awareness of suffering that's occurring. And so just I've really been, you know, putting into practice my meditation, and as well as just sending the loving kindness meditation out every day and every night. And yeah, just feeling like I'm kind of balancing between these two worlds and just trying to maintain this steady course. So I'm just so thankful for practice and for practice. Just so very grateful for it. Thank you so much.
Alice, thank you. By the time all our regulars figure out here we are for Wednesday night, we'll hopefully be ready to go back in person. Although I have to say, I mentioned to Alyssa, I was like, we might need to start having 2 groups a week, because I do love that some people who I don't usually get to see, like, it makes it more accessible, basically. And I like that about it a lot. So anyway, thank you for being here, Alice. Hi, Irene.
Hi there.
And Jeff, right? Did I get it right? Is it Jeff?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Is it Jeff, Irene, and Jeff?
Kevin.
Kevin, sorry. I'll have it by next week.
I'll put it in there too next time.
It would help me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just noticing quite a bit of tenderness at the beginning, just like seeing these familiar faces and knowing that it's a space that I've been going to now for a year exactly around this time, and just like how there's kind of like walking into the little church is like this feeling of like calm, and that there's like a similar feeling now. And so just having this like tenderness of like, oh, these like people, there's so many familiar faces, many of you I don't know well, but I see you in that circle, and just really sweet to be here with that. And I think after the last couple of weeks, finally finding this week some new inspiration and creativity and feeling inspired again, which has been fun. And I was able to offer for 9 friends a virtual forest bathing walk yesterday. And so I'm going to continue building that. It's something I do normally in person. And it took me a couple of weeks to be okay with like moving it into the technology and seeing what people were able to, how they were nourished by the natural world. And so feeling kind of okay with it not being perfect, and just getting that out there. So just grateful to be here with all of you, and also to be finding some inspiration again. So thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Kevin, he, him. I've really been feeling into this idea of kind of creating routine, kind of with the disruption of my life and so many lives. I've been kind of creating anew the habits for the life that I want, and seeing this whole experience that's happening as a chance for me and kind of our culture more broadly to maybe break some old patterns that weren't serving, and develop new patterns that might, serve me better and serve our culture better. And so trying to look at the creative aspect of that and how this is an opportunity from that perspective to do that kind of thing.
Hear, hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear Bella, hello. Are you in California?
Hi, no, I'm completely moved home now.
Okay.
Yeah, I got back about 2 weeks ago, and that was definitely a fast and stressful transition. My college basically shut down. Now my school's online, but yeah, I have been feeling pretty scattered and kind of dissociated this last week. So I've really just been trying to kind of come back into my body and remind myself it's safe to be here. But definitely feeling super happy to see all of these familiar faces. Irene said that she'd been coming for about a year, and I think that I have too, because that's when I started interning for Peace in School. So that was really just a sweet reminder. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. She, her pronouns.
Happy you're here. Happy you're part of our family. Thank you. Alyssa.
Alyssa, she, her. And I'm just realizing that I was hired almost a year ago.
It's like a reunion.
I didn't realize that when I was hired, that you all just started coming. What's present for me in this moment is the phrase, love is greater than fear. And I think there's a lot that I'm fearful about, and especially with the coronavirus. And I think it's important to remind myself that love is greater than fear. And yeah, that's just really present.
Thank you for bringing that reminder into our space. And happy anniversary. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. I think we can't hear you yet, or I can't hear you yet. I don't know if other people, can other people hear Sarah?
Is there another Sarah?
There is another Sarah here.
Okay.
There's I was going to say the Peace in School Sarah, but that might feel, I don't want to pigeonhole her. She's much more than her occupation. Sarah.
Hello. I think in this moment I'm present to just how much my conditioned system really, like, I feel a lot of ease when there's structure coming from an external thing like work or like a preschool schedule, and I struggle greatly when the structure has to come from within. and also like it's definitely I'm like rebelling against myself. I know that structure is what I need, and I resist. There's not a lot of ease in creating it. It's not like a pathway that and I'm also responsible for creating that sort of structure and continuity for my son. So we have been just kind of struggling in the free for all without something outside saying it's now time to do this. And I also today in particular, a little, like, we find out tomorrow whether my partner has a job or not anymore. And so, yeah, just the levels of uncertainty for our family.
Sarah, thank you. Shiraz, it's great to see you. Hi.
Hi, Caverly. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be able to connect virtually. I feel like that's been a great way to connect with folks, either through virtual happy hours or just sort of video conferencing. So it's really nice to be able to do this meditation group with all of you, and kind of echoing what other people said, to see familiar faces again. And so it's really nice to be a part of this. And I guess right before this, I just went for a little short kind of walking meditation. And I feel very privileged because I live near a park. So I was able to just kind of do a quick walk around the block. And it's so odd to be outside and not see anybody, but it's just such a beautiful day and just very still outside. It was nice to just kind of be outside with, be myself and my thoughts. So that was just kind of a nice way to just collect myself before this, but just very grateful to be here as part of the meditation tonight.
Thanks, Shiraz. Welcome. Hi, Indra. Am I saying your name right? I think you're just still on mute. There we go.
You know?
Yes. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, you're saying
Okay.
it right.
Great.
Yes. It just occurred to me yesterday, I think it was, to look and see if you were doing anything virtual. And I was so excited to see that you were. This is just my second time joining this meditation group, and I didn't realize how much I was craving just the faces of strangers, being at home so much and not interacting with people every day. I'm generally pretty introverted, but I realized through this how nourishing it is to see all your faces and just hear your experiences and be able to relate to those and just feel more connected in that way. So thank you.
Thank you, Indra. Welcome.
Thanks.
Ingrid.
Hi, I'm Ingrid. I use she, her pronouns. This is my cat, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
She is very curious every time there's a video chat. She knows that something has my attention, and she would rather have my attention, I think. So I continue to feel really untethered, and was reflecting today about this concept I heard a while ago of like, it's better to stand on like shifting sands of impermanence rather than like clinging to like a false sense of certainty. And I think that's a really beautiful idea. And now that I'm on shifting sands, I'm like, no, I would much rather have my certainty, even if it's even if it's rooted in ignorance. So yeah, a lot of waves of emotion. And there, like, aside from just coronavirus, there's a lot of transition in my life. And yeah, I'm pretty exhausted from trying to navigate all of that change. So I'm really grateful to be here in a quiet space and just to sit and be with you all. So thanks, Caverly.
Thank you, Ingrid. I'm really glad you are here.
Me too.
Erica, welcome. I'm so glad I get to see more of you now that this is virtual. Howdy.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm feeling very present to, I guess, vulnerability. Inviting a lot of people into my space and trying to navigate the energetics of it all. I am sharing a really tiny space with my partner, and we just got a puppy. puppy mind is a real thing and tangible in my life right now. So there's been a lot of lessons with that, and I do appreciate that. Work started up again, and by the time we have a scheduled meeting, by the time the meeting's over, something has already changed and expectations have already changed for what I should.
Erica, you're frozen for me. Is Erica, wave if Erica's frozen for you. Okay. So Erica, I'm going to encourage you to take your video off again.
Okay.
And keep talking because,
Can
yeah,
you read?
I think we're going to, yeah, let's try that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I've also been noticing that happening. Yeah, so much change, and that impermanence, I really appreciate that idea of feeling untethered. I'm definitely also there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to notice the gravitation towards wanting to connect with partner, and then also wanting space, and how to do it lovingly and consistently. So
yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Erica, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Caverly. Thank you. I'm sorry I joined late. I just remembered, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday night. I need to be on. So here I am.
Okay, great.
So I would have to definitely piggyback on what Erica said and just feel like this is such a time of vulnerability. And I'm, as you know, I'm an eternal optimist. And so I try to be grateful and think of the positives in this horrible pandemic. And so one of the things that I've been focusing on with my 2 teen boys is cooking meals together. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to not only be thrifty in what we're using and recipes we're creating, but it's also giving them an opportunity to learn a new skill. And we just really appreciate it when we sit down together and eat and just, you know, compliment each other on what a great meal that we put together. So it's been a positive in that respect.
It's a sweet image. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Hi, Julie Barnes.
Hi. I have not gone to any of your meditations. I was invited by Indra.
Julie, I am not able to hear you very well.
Is this any better?
Yes. Is there a volume button on your end you could use?
The computer just doesn't work that well on the
volume side. Okay. So we'll all lean in.
Yeah. Indra had invited me to a meditation, and I wasn't really able. It's hard for me to get away from family on a Wednesday night, so it's actually easier for me to do something like this. It's virtual.
Great. And I'm delighted to hear that. And what's alive for you? What's been present for you, or if you wish to share?
What Kevin said really resonated with me about how the possibilities of how maybe we could change things for the better with this, kind of recognizing what's going on and shift. I'm in education, and maybe there could be some positive changes there. Maybe not, it'll be rough at first, but the long run maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then just personally there's ups and downs, but today I got out for a nice bike ride, so a reminder to get out in the sun when it is there is really helpful. And she, her pronouns.
Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Caverly. It's so nice to see you.
It's really good to see you.
It's nice to see everyone's faces. I've, like everyone, I've been really missing just seeing faces. I think what I'm aware of is just the thing I'm aware of the most now is vulnerability, which I guess is part of how we live and how we are always, but for me, it's very heightened right now. I'm worried about some of my students who are not sheltering with, as solid a crew as I am. And I'm worried about my parents.
Yeah.
And it just has made me feel very tender towards people, because whether we acknowledge it every day or not, we're all sort of walking around pretty open and pretty vulnerable all the time.
Yeah. Where are your parents, Deborah?
They're in North Carolina. They're in a little town, but they're 90 and 88. And North Carolina wasn't taking this very seriously for a while, but I think everybody's staying in now.
Yeah, I know my brother lives in North Carolina, and they're catching up.
Yeah.
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 Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Bryce and Tiffany, hello.
Hi.
Hi, good to see y'all.
You
Good to see you too.
Yeah, man.
Oh, y'all. Oh, so yeah, yes, definitely feeling the vulnerability, the untethered, the big shifts up and down and back and forth. And something that I am really grateful for, even though it's uncomfortable, is how much this time is really showing me my real need to develop my healthy boundaries around my time. I tend to say yes. I tend to want to be a part of everything, and I am seeing very much. I'm grateful for the lesson that I cannot be of great use to or a great service if I am not sourced and rested. And so yeah, I am slowly but surely and a little painfully learning that lesson, but I am grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for all of these opportunities that I'm getting to be a part of this from home. We did a stretching, 30 minutes of stretching and 30 minutes of breath work this morning from home. So
oh, great.
Yes, there's some really beautiful things happening, and they all take time. So I am finding that balance.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, and she, her pronouns.
Great. Thanks, Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Bryce, he, him. It's really nice to see every time a new face comes up. It's like, oh, there's a new how fun. And Amy, I really resonated with what you were saying of I identify as someone who brings a lot of joy and a lot of optimism and fun and lightness, and I also focus there. So at a time like this, I am hyper local, you might say. I'm not paying very much attention to what's happening on a global scale, really. I mean, I am kind of. New York has a little bit of my attention because we used to live there. And that's a very scary thing happening there. But the point I'm kind of present to tonight is sometimes feelings of shame or feeling irresponsible for focusing on the positivity and on what's good, and feeling like I'm not doing my due diligence and paying enough attention to the horrible, horrible, horrible. And so it is interesting to look at that and to actually root down more in my calling as a light bringer, and know that that is valid, and that is not, it's not that I'm not paying attention and not allowing it in, it's that I'm choosing where I focus. And I think that a balance of that is very important, of being mindful and not ignoring and pretending something isn't happening, but choosing where we focus and acknowledging that that's where the light shines, is where things grow. So self-acceptance really is kind of what I'm.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, dear Kavi.
Hey, Caverly, and hey, everyone. It's nice to see everyone's faces here on the screens. I've been very present to bliss, actually. In present to bliss. I say that I've been very grateful. I've been very grateful just to be here, sharing space with the Sangha, and even strangely, recognizing there's suffering around the world, and even having to learn their suffering in my own personal life too, because it actually brings me a lot of human, like makes me realize I'm actually human and I'm alive. Actually, I'm alive, and it's been a practice of confronting with my own ego. And once I've been able, and it's like this whole process of being quarantined actually reminds me of confronting my ego and recognizing I'm not my ego. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like, today I was helping out a friend who was struggling with their own addiction. And then I also got reached out for a job. I was like, what? And I was like, just because I just was aware about my ego. I was just so aware, and recognizing that if I just start over with something, just give myself permission to start over, then I will get something back in return. And I was awesome to recognize that I could just let go of my ego, and also recognize I'm human, and also not be afraid of starting over. That's been powerful.
Thanks, Kavi. Laura.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Just thinking I might need to go outside. I'm sharing a very small space, and we all are having different sound requirements in our small space right now. But Laura, she, hers, a lot of untethered, and also feeling trapped inside a lot. Feels, just resonating with feeling trapped. Thanks.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Alyssa, double check me. I think I got everyone. If you could type, oh, there you are, Ben. I saw you, and then did you disappear? Anyway, hello.
No, I'm here.
You're here, Ben. I saw you when I first logged on. I'm glad you're here. How are you?
I feel good. Yeah, I guess I've been feeling kind of some confliction between a little bit of what you were saying, Bryce, about, there's this terrible stuff going on out there in the world, and, really hoping we can get through it. But for me, just selfishly, I have a job still. I'm really lucky there, and living with someone that I love and enjoy very much. And I woke up on Saturday and played like 7 hours of this video game that I just love, and I never give myself permission to do it, and I got to do it, and I had no FOMO about it. So that was really nice. And so there's, ups and downs to it. Overall, for me, I think it's a good reflection time, and I feel like it is for a lot of people too. Maybe not worth the cost, of course, but it is. There's two sides to the coin.
Thank you, Ben. All right. So we'll move into a half an hour of meditation. I, as you know, have been teaching every morning this week from 8 to 9 through Sangha Live, and it's been a really lovely, rich opportunity for me. I've appreciated that form in the same way I appreciate this. So I'll be there tomorrow morning and then the next morning, and then maybe after that. Just, it was a 1 week commitment, but it's just been going so well. I have a feeling it could continue. We've had requests for it to continue. We'll see. The reason I bring it up is it had never occurred to me to do something they did, which is to suggest that the meditation that we're having virtually, that you're in a Dharma hall. I don't actually use that language a lot. So if you're new to this group, I think most people aren't, but yeah, for whatever reason, that language doesn't mean anything to you, to just see yourself in a sacred space for this meditation, in which you'd be conducting yourself in the same way you would if you were in our meditation group at the little church. And what I liked about that is it hadn't occurred to me how it can be quite distracting if people are doing lots of things in the background. So if you need to be doing lots of things and you really had hoped to have this meditation on as just a backdrop of your experience and you have to get the dishes done or whatever, no, that's actually fine with me, but I would like to request that you just put your screen, take yourself off the screen. So, so that we're really holding space in the same way we would if we were sitting together at the little church. As you all know, I'm not strict about posture. Someone who was a monk for 8 years, I know the value of a disciplined posture and practice. And I also am a big fan of taking care of the body, especially during this time. So if you need to lay down during this meditation, that's fine. Just treat it as a meditation, even if you're laying down. So I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell in just a moment. And my dear husband might need my attention, so I am just going to check. Do you need it now? Okay. It can wait. Okay, super. So I'm going to ring the bell and we'll have a half an hour of meditation. And afterwards, for this evening, we're going to go straight into group discussion just based on the time. So beginning this meditation by taking 3 of the longest and deepest inhalations and exhalations you've taken yet today. And based on what was coming up in our check-in, I want to begin this meditation by inviting you to bring your attention to the soles of your feet. Just notice the sensation in the soles of the feet. And even if your legs are crossed, experiencing your feet in relationship to the earth. Your feet as anchors. Not immovable anchors. Anchors that can be raised, placed somewhere else as you wish. But grounding objects that you can drop the attention into. We're allowing ourselves to ground in presence. In being. We're grounding in being in this moment of uncertainty. Consider for a moment the way in which we tend to not fear change. We think, oh, change, that might be scary, but actually it's the uncertainty about change that we're usually conditioned to be afraid of. If someone says, there's going to be a change in your life, I'm giving you a new puppy, that's probably not something in which your first response might be fear. Depending, that might not be the best example for you. How about the change of a raise at work? An increase in your paycheck, hourly rate, or salary. That's a change you would welcome. But the uncertainty of not knowing whether you'll have your hourly rate or your salary, that uncertainty is where we're conditioned to have fear arise. So in that uncertainty, we're practicing grounding in being. Grounding in presence. Much like this image of anchors, notice how even an anchor with a boat, the top of the water, has flexibility, it has movement if a storm comes. So we're not directing the attention to the present moment as if it's on a tight, constricted line of time. Past is here on the line, future is here on the line, the present moment is here on the line. We have to try to keep the attention in this one small spot that we call now, for the purposes of this meditation and really this practice, that now is the ocean, the boat, the anchors, the sky. And we're taking our seat in that infinite expansive now. So we're allowing for the expansiveness which holds by its nature change. And in that expansiveness, we're anchored in being. In presence. It's a far more reliable place to anchor. Than any objective experience that we might habitually try to attach to. In truth, we can't leave this vast field of being, but certainly it can feel as though we leave this field of being, this field of presence. It can feel that way when we identify with our worries, our fears, and our resistance to what is. Consider for a moment how much room the ocean has for our resistance to what is. How much vulnerability the sky can hold. Now allow yourself to be held in being. Perhaps even cradled in being. Again, with no need to push away or reject or try to change what is. A being, the being that includes everything. The uncertainty, the vulnerability, the insecurity, the fear, the feeling of being trapped. We may be trapped physically, but we are inherently free in our own being. Our own being is so intimate, so close to our experience. It can't be separated from experience, that we sometimes take it for granted. We forget to attend to it. So it falls to the backdrop of our experience. Consciously bring it to the forefront. Just through your attention. Allow yourself not only to, in this moment, not take being for granted, but to enjoy this precious being. Simply resting in being, in silence together for the rest of this meditation.
Thank you. So we have about half an hour left for our group. And if folks would send Alyssa a message later, Alyssa at presencecollective.org, if for you having this group be an hour and a half instead of an hour and 45 minutes would actually work better for your schedule. I just recognize the Zoom changes things. Many people have reported to me that they're like on Zoom for work all day. I'm just very sensitive to wanting to be adaptable to the group just based on the change of the platform. So if you have an opinion about that, send it on to Alyssa. If we don't hear anything, we'll keep it as is. The nice thing about the length is we do get to hear from everyone and also still have discussion and a full half an hour sit, which I value. While I'm doing announcement kinds of things, I did want to acknowledge that I believe it was last week I made a reference to please donate if you can. You know, it pays Alyssa's salary. And in the name of transparency, I want to be really clear, or I think I said something like it pays for Alyssa to do this, but I do want, in the name of transparency, to be clear that Alyssa and I are actually both on salary with Presence Collective and Peace in Schools. And right now we have our jobs. And it's important to me that you know a couple things. One, it really is okay if your job is compromised or your partner's job is compromised, and this is not a time where giving works for you. Do know that you're welcome here. That's fine. Some people are curious about why are we making a suggested donation for a platform that costs so little, and we don't have, as you all know, the little churches usually $88 to rent, and that's where it is a real contribution to our salaries and to the small platform fee if you can contribute. And as you can imagine, the foundations that support our organization, they're frozen more than usual. Many individual donors, some of our large donors are frozen more than usual. Our contracts are in question. I'm not offering some of the retreat services I was planning on offering. They were canceled. So just know that's a little bit more about the background of how you giving a donation supports the teachings and Alyssa, other team members as staff. So I'd like to open it up tonight. Reminder just to speak from your own experience. That's a reminder I often give before group discussions on Wednesday nights. So if someone speaks, and especially in a time like this, you can really relate to what they're saying. Just a reminder to own your own experience. I am sensitive to many people acknowledging vulnerability during this time. So it can be really disruptive if someone comments directly on your experience in a way that you might feel projected on or could lead you to feel unsafe. So all that said, what shall we discuss this evening? You can just show me your hand. I can see all your faces, or if your screen is dark, you can type something in the sidebar. But any wave or raised hand will work. Although it is very funny, Alyssa, when you go away, you have the Peace in Schools image of Maggie with her hands up at the retreat. So you weren't trying to share though, were you? All right. Yeah. Were you trying to share? Are you, Indra, or were you putting your hands to your face for a moment?
This is going to be complicated. All right. Either y'all have to get diligent about what you're doing with your hands, or you just got to, I'll look at the side thing more maybe. I think it was Bryce had something at the end of group last time and we didn't get to it. Is anything still alive for you? And no pressure if not, but I did make a mental note that I'd check back in.
It's very generous of you to remember that. I am not too sure what I had. It was really, really important at the time.
It's a new now.
Yeah, I really am finding myself during that meditation very, very sleepy at the end of a day, and just sort of in and out of a kind of a semi-dream state. But really kind of rooting down through my feet especially, and remembering the earth and connecting. And I have a much different relationship to kind of slipping in and out of consciousness during meditation than I used to. I have a cleaner relationship with it. I don't mind it so much. I used to feel like I was failing somehow. And now I just try to remember what the details were. I'm not sure if I remember anything that was told to me, but you know, the mind is a fascinating tool and other thing.
It is, and it's so, I think, important to release that habit of judgment, especially about our meditation practices. Without the judgment, there's a lot more room for inquiry. And we can become very curious about what in another moment, a moment with no judgment, perhaps you'd describe as spacious resting in being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a softness around focus rather than the hard focus of the attention. I use this example a lot. I originally heard it from Rupert Spira, but that example of, you know, what do we love so much about deep sleep? Like we say to people, like, did you sleep well? And we're always really happy for them if they say yes, right? Like we really feel it when someone says, oh, I haven't slept well in days. And so what we appreciate, well, I'll put it back to you. What do you appreciate about deep sleep?
I'm very present today to the recalibration and the reset that good sleep can provide. I was really despondent and in quite a slump yesterday of lack of will and desire to do much of anything, sort of adrift in long-faced sadness, and I wasn't really able to shake it throughout the day, but a good night's sleep really shifted that a lot, and I woke up feeling completely different today, and that is a delightfully unexplainable thing.
What about the deep sleep? Now you just said it's unexplainable, but I'm going to not let you off the hook so quickly. What about the deep sleep allows for that experience?
It must be a letting go of mental attachment throughout the day that is really able to really happen when you truly kind of go to another plane and all systems sort of shut down or shift in a way. It's able to let go of the seemingly ever important worry and concern and whatever else.
Yeah. So given that that's so rejuvenating for us to be unhooked from these objects of experience, why not celebrate a meditation in which at the end of it we can say, it was somewhat like resting in deep sleep. Just an unhooking, an untethering from all the things that pull at the attention and create strain and spirals of conditioned patterns, thought forms.
Yeah.
And that's not the same thing as saying, so we don't need a meditation practice, we'll just nap all the time, right? So not that I have anything wrong with napping. Napping's great, but so is meditation. We can nap and we can have restful meditations, restful practices that allow us to attend to where the attention is, to notice those patterns, to pay attention to how we're wired to be reacting to these times, so that when we recognize those patterns, we can see them for what they are and we can consciously let go. That's all practice. But in truth, what we're really practicing is kind of a non-practice, isn't it? Because it's when we're resting in awareness. I like to talk about how we're resting in awareness as awareness, that these things are revealed. So in my experience, the longer I've practiced, the less effort there is to practice. Do you know what I mean? Or does that resonate?
It does very much. I was just speaking to one of my clients tonight about he's just getting started in a meditation practice and he really wants to figure it out and know how it is, and he's wants quantifiable evidence of how to make a plan and know when it's working and all these kinds of things. And it really is, even in describing to him how much that will only lead to more frustration probably, and that there are scientific evidences out there of reduced anxiety and these different things, that it really is, it's a relationship to self that and divine and but ourselves really one and the same, that is really hard to explain. And I absolutely hear what I heard you say about a reduced effort in the practice. In other words, the more practice, the less efforted it feels to feel like I've accomplished meditation.
Yeah, I love Rupert. It's funny because I just quoted Rupert this morning in the 8 a.m. meditation, but I love that he said meditation isn't something we do, it's what we are. It's not an activity to check off our to-do list. Meditation is the resting in what we already are. Now, I want to give a big caveat, especially because this is being recorded and it could end up on our website or something. If someone were to listen to this that's new to practice, I think it's so important to underline the benefit, the way in which there's nothing wrong with coming to practice, because in the beginning you just know you want to suffer less, and it's important to you to have it on your to-do list. It won't happen unless it's on your to-do list.
Right.
You have to drag yourself to the cushion, as it were. Many people that I'm in contact with have stories that start there. I was suffering. I didn't want to suffer anymore. I didn't necessarily like meditation, but I just kind of kept getting this sense that it could help me. So I made myself do it. It's not a bad starting place.
Right.
I love that there's a woman who practices with us named Joyce. She's practiced with us for years, and she jokes about how she came to meditation years ago because her doctor told her it would help her lower her blood pressure. And she had no idea that after sticking with practice, she'd be like questioning the nature of identity and exploring the nature of consciousness and reality. And she just wanted to lower her blood pressure. But she can, of course, joke about it because she's so, at this point, just like it's so woven into her life, her experience of being awake, practicing awakeness in the world. Thanks for sharing, Bryce.
Thank you very much.
Kavi.
Thank you, Caverly. I'm grateful to be here, but the presence of everyone, no pun intended. Yeah, to start with today, I would say that something I don't really find brought up whenever I've been checking in with maybe my loved ones, friends, and family members in regards to this COVID situation is, it's like I've been feeling this recognizing a suffering with discrimination on people of my own kind, actually. And that's hard for me to bring up. It's because I just try to stay away from politics as much as possible unless it's related and I need to step in. However, for me, it was just like, this is something that was very different when I sat. And just going out for walks where I'm just like, no one's ever brought this up, actually. This, what is it called? It was from, it's like, I do know that for me, if I was doing a lot of harm to myself back then, I would have been very prejudiced to my own people. However, I went to my own country just last year, and it was like I felt the alignment with my own heart, with the people of my own heart too, and it was beautiful. And
Kavi, it was fearful to feel that alignment.
I'm not finished.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was following you. Please finish.
Oh, no worries. I was saying that I felt aligned with my own people when I was staying in my own country, and I felt it during this COVID-19 situation. And then I would remember reflecting back then, I would never feel like that. During the time when I was very unconscious and compulsive. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, so let me just see if I'm with you. You're recognizing that you went through a period of time where you rejected your ancestry, and that shifted for you, particularly when you went back to where did you go again, Kavi? Remind me where you went.
I went to Vietnam.
So when you went to Vietnam, you found yourself. I remember you coming back from traveling, and I remember you saying you felt a type of kinship that you hadn't felt before, kind of an alignment in the heart, as you're describing it tonight. And so you're really present in this current crisis to the way it's impacting you, that there's been an increase in hate crimes, racist crimes against Asians, as COVID has broken out in the world, in particular in the United States.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Thank you for reflecting that. Yeah, especially as, it's such a difficult thing, and it's personal, actually, very, very personal. And I'm like stepping into stepping into unfamiliar territory of my own self, recognizing that this is something that I would never do. However, this is something I am doing, where I'm like, learning how to speak up for my own self and my own people and recognize that this is not okay, actually. This is not okay because this can affect my employment. This can affect my, after COVID-19, like people are gonna be making a lot of racist jokes about me bringing viruses and such. I'm just like, yeah, that's not okay. That's
really
not okay,
not
but it's like,
okay.
no, it's not okay. Like I've gone to other things in my own life. However, yeah, it's like calling this the Asian or Chinese flu or whatever it may be. That's really too far. Yeah, and I just, yeah, it really hit me when I was hearing it was affecting my own family members and affecting people in my own personal life. And I was like, no, I need to voice this somehow.
Yeah.
And recognize it's okay to feel empathy and recognize that it's like really hard, really hard. Like during, it's like I'm recognizing there's people dying left and right around COVID-19. There's people being affected by racist hate crimes. I had to recognize that, and I cannot, and I don't want to be attached to it. It's just more like I had to recognize that's happening.
Kavi, I think what you're saying is very profound. You're recognizing the importance of recognizing it,
Yeah,
of seeing it, and allowing yourself to feel the impact of it.
exactly. Without being attached or
without being attached around it.
Yeah, exactly. Without being attached to or consumed by it, for sure. I'm not allowing it to consume me, for sure. Not allowing it to consume me. Yeah, because like I do know, yeah, and I also give myself a pat on the back, actually. Give myself some little celebration because I would not feel like this if I didn't make the leap to go back to travel back to my own country, and then I would have been like, I would have been a different person if I didn't go back there.
Yeah,
to see the truth.
which, as you and I have spoken about before,
Yeah.
I appreciate that you had the insight not too long ago that that's just a form of internalized racism.
It is. It's a deep internalized racism. Like it was hard for me to acknowledge that. Like many people similar to me, where we really had a lot of deep resentment on our own selves or others. We had internalized racism, and I was one of them. And it's like this practice of being empathetic again. It's like being empathy. It's empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I do say, yeah, but thank you, Caverly.
Kavi, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah.
I'm resonating deeply with you, what you're saying about the importance of recognizing, fully feeling, while also not getting so consumed by it that you can't function.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's that inner critic. Like when I just got the job response back, I was like, oh my gosh, why did they have the race option? They asked me for my race, and I was so scared. But I was like, that's just my conditioning. It's just my conditioning, and also external things outside. So
yeah, you were paying attention, so you could see that self-talk come in of, why is this box here? What does that mean?
Exactly.
Is this
What
a
does this box
problem?
mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for sure. And I do say that there was one thing I'm grateful for, like sharing about this, besides sharing with you, Caverly, and others, is I've been able to have discussion with this with Asian people who also have a awareness practice with me too. And it's like it feels that I'm not the only one. However, I want to connect with them besides just recognizing that's our concern. Because I don't want, because it's like for me, whenever I connect with new people, it's like I don't want to connect it just because, oh, I might have gone through this, or I may have similar identities, or I may have gone through the similar addiction. No, I actually want to connect with them at a deeper level, and also besides practice, I want to connect with a deeper level. So it's like there's been this unification of, yeah, my own people reconnect with one another, and my practice serving me at the same time. And their practice serving them, which has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions, Cav?
You know, I just was going to say thanks for sharing your experience, Kavi. Like it's really takes a lot of courage to talk about difficult things, and I appreciate the courage that you have.
Thank you.
To be with and to stay with difficult things. That takes a tremendous amount of courage in our practice. So thank you for that.
Exactly. It's way harder than what I do in reality. way harder. Way harder. Yeah, way harder. Thank you, Cav.
Thank you, Kavi.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi. For me, I know a lot of people who are losing people right now, and for one reason or another, and so I'm wondering, you know, I've had a lot of death in my life. I've lost a lot of family members, and it's amazing to me that even though that is true, there still is few words that can really hold the experience of a profound loss. And I had a friend tonight who reached out saying that she was just really deeply feeling her loss, especially because she can't be around anyone. Her partner died, and yeah, she can't be around community to support her. And so I want to show up in support of my friends that are going through these very deep losses. And I can't physically be there. And I was just wondering if you could speak to that a little bit, Caverly.
Yeah. Well, first, just an acknowledgement of the losses. In the same way that you're bringing that experience into the space by voicing it, I reflect it to you so that it can be underscored and sort of lifted onto an altar of sorts. It seems to me that this is one of those times, perhaps maybe not a more important time in our lives, for us to be practicing with our recognition of what's eternal. That this body is not. And that as these bodies come and go, including our own, no one on this call can tell us the date of that. I hope it's the case that no one can tell us the date of that, because often it means a tragedy of suicide's about to happen or something, if you can tell us the date of that. So given that we don't know when that moment will be, when we're in a time where there's not a loss around us, a lot of loss around us, we can forget. We can forget the reality that these bodies are temporary forms, that they're creations, and specifically that they're not who we are. So it seems to me that we're in a time where we're really being asked to focus on what is it that we are that's not merely the body. And when we are exploring that experience in ourselves, that can then be the way that we're connecting with another. Which, because that being, I mean, it was really pointed to in the meditation in an indirect way, this recognition of being, this resting in being as being. That's not contained by body. And we can feel in practicing together that being is shared being. So it seems to me that a good question you might be asking yourself right now is, in a sense, who am I? Who am I really? And can my direct experience of that inquiry and that exploration, can my findings, not in the head, but my direct experience, my exploration of that, can that be what I'm sharing with another? Can that be how I'm connecting to another? Because of course, in truth, we're not connecting to another as if, two separate bodies can give the appearance of connecting, because you, just even right now, Bryce, is probably touching the arm of Tiffany. So there's this connection, but that's on one plane.
Mm.
So what arises for you? I was just about to ask you a very big question, but then I looked at the time. I was like, oh, we're already over by 2 minutes. Perhaps I shouldn't ask such a big question. Maybe I'll just instead say, what are you noticing with that as we wrap up? I want to honor people's time.
Mm. I realize in hearing your reflection that I need to sit with it more. I'm actually embarking on becoming an end-of-life doula, and so I do a lot of work around death, and I have my own beliefs around it that bring me quite a bit of comfort. The challenge that I was running into was how, in a moment where someone is grieving, could I extend that? And I think that the answer lies in being with it more internally and meditating more on it. I think there's wisdom lying in wait.
There's wisdom lying in wait, and there's also wisdom lying in the recognition that on a very deep level, what we offer others all the time always is coming from our own direct experience. So as I rest in recognition of who I really am, even through a computer screen, I can speak to you from that recognition, and it touches that recognition in you. Not because I'm doing anything magical, but because that's the exchange that's happening in this practice conversation context. Right? As you can feel, we're not meeting each other on the level of merely personality or what we do for a living, or, right? We have different conversations here. So it's not just, the wisdom's not just in the waiting, the wisdom is in the touching into your own direct experience, so that is how you are extending yourself. And it has very little to do with just your physical body making contact with another or sharing the same room physically. Those are creations on one realm of experience, not the realm of spirit, we could say. Not the realm of shared being, which has nothing to do with those definitive forms. That's good. You've given yourself good homework for the week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. My apologies. We've gone over on time a bit, but thank you so much for being here. Really, really grateful that we practice together in this way. And if you would like to join me at 8 in the morning for the next couple mornings, please join Sangha live. Okay, good night. Sarah, did you have a question or were you just waving? Okay, bye.